Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Sestardino back here one night after the Survivor finale to talk about a brand new show that just dropped on Amazon Prime. The highly anticipated Beast Games is here. And here with me to talk about our thoughts on episodes 1 and 2 of Beast Games. It's a guy who's the beast of covering the live feeds. It's Taran Armstrong. Taran, how are you?
Rob, I'm sitting here on a YouTube channel. We're about to talk about the Beast Games.
In this chat, there are 2,000 people, and we are going to be eliminating them one by one. Well, I hope not. I hope tell your friends. Tell your friends to show up.
This is slowly just dropping off because of our Mr. Beast impressions.
Yes. Okay. And nobody in the chat is going to get any money from us, but hopefully you'll get some knowledge as we have watched the 2 episodes that dropped today on Amazon Prime of Beast Games. And I think we heard about Beast Games for a while. We knew there was going to be a lot of people, there was going to be a lot of money, and so finally we get to see the vision of Mr. Beast. And I think we'll have some interesting things to talk about what's going on here, because I would say it is like nothing else I've ever watched on television, but it is like a lot of Mr. Beast videos.
It is very much like a lot of Mr. Beast videos. I think the closest comparison is obviously going to be Squid Games, the game,
Yes.
or whatever it was called on
Squid
Netflix.
Games, the challenge, yeah.
The challenge. But even then, it's definitely a different style, which is much more of like the YouTube Mr. Beast style. And yeah, it's very, very interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will get into all that. Taran, how have you been?
I'm doing well, just I'm still recovering from a little bit of an illness, a little bit of caught a little bit of a cold or something.
Oh, yeah.
But
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully you're feeling good as we talk about Beast Games, which dropped today. And of course, Mr. Beast is always in the news. Not a ton of great press out there about Beast Games so far, but, we're not really here to get into all of that. We're here to talk about our thoughts as the reality TV experts. I mean, Taran is even one of the tastemakers on our scripted TV podcast network. So here to give you a little review of what we think about what's going on over on Beast Games, where over it seems like on YouTube, they started with 2,000 people. Did you get to see any of that, Taran?
I did. So this was a little confusing because I watched the 2 episodes and then I saw on YouTube there was another one that was like the same thing but different. And so that was actually like a precursor episode with 2,000 contestants. In the 20-minute YouTube video, he whittles it down to 1,000, and then those 1,000 went and competed on the actual show, which is also interesting because what I discovered is that I believe most of the complaints that you've seen, the controversy surrounding the show, I believe were surrounding that portion, that YouTube video that was filmed in Las Vegas, and then the Amazon filmed show was filmed later.
Yeah. Okay. So interesting. So this one starts with 1,000 people. But it's very interesting what Mr. Beast is going for here. Like, he does really love this idea of like we start with all of these people. Like, a lot of the videos are like 100 people. This is starting with 1,000 people. One of them is going to win this huge sum of money. But it's so different than almost everything else that we watch in reality TV, where it's like these 12 people, these 16 people, these 18 people. The shows start with like they handpick these people that we're going to focus on, where this is really, we don't really focus on any of the people.
Yeah, it's so antithetical to the way that reality television is often portrayed and the way that they tell their stories. One of the things we talked about when we were initially talking about this concept, when Mr. Beast announced that this show was going to happen, something that he talked about was his lack of like after the fact confessionals. He does more like in the moment confessionals. All of these contestants have individual cameras designed for them that they can talk to in the moment that they might cut to, but there's nothing from them after the fact being like, so I walked into the warehouse, and that gives such a different feel to what's happening, on top of the fact that even in something like Squid Games, the challenge, when there were 400 plus contestants, we would get confessionals.
Right.
And then we would also throughout the season get these sort of like backstories and like stuff like that. None of that's happening here. These people are literally numbers and faces.
Numbers and faces. And honestly, like we have not like followed the story of any of the players on Beast Games through 2 episodes where, you know, in Squid Games The Challenge, you really got to know like not all 456, but there was probably like, you know, 20 to 30 players that you really got to know their story well, like, you know, Trey and Leanne and, you know, a bunch of other folks that we really, and maybe we will eventually, like maybe when this thing gets down to, you know, 40, 30 people, like we'll come to really know these people. And it's just like not time yet to get to know these people. But it's interesting that there is not like one character that really we know particularly well, maybe save for like a couple of people that were the captains, like that are left on the cliffhanger to push the button. Like there are very few names and, you know, very few people that we are like following and tracking, you know, what is their story through this thing.
Yeah. And what I found interesting is that despite that, for me at least, when I watched these 2 episodes, I still found myself trying to find people to root for, and ended up being like, oh man, I really hope this person doesn't get screwed over. Or like, oh man, this team is so cool. Like, I hope they don't fail. And I was very invested, even though I had no idea who these people actually were. And in many ways, maybe liking them more because I didn't know more about them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess they say like never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
You know, the more you know about the person, then you'll find something you don't like. But $5 million is on the line here. And really, even through 2 episodes, you know, I know that Mr. Beast, first of all, do you like it when people call him Jimmy? I feel like that's so informal.
It does. It feels like one of those things where like you'd call like the president by their first name. You know what I mean? Like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
We get it. You're close to the guy. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
but also at the same time, if you do know him personally, it'd be very weird to call him Mr. Beast.
yes, you call him, hey, you call him Mr. Beast, okay? But
you can listen, you can call me Beast. It's fine.
Yeah, please. Mr. Beast is my father. But it's mind-blowing the amount of money that they are giving away on this show. I don't like, and again, like it's been well documented, the incredible success that Mr. Beast has had on YouTube and all of the things that he has accomplished. I don't know what Amazon is paying for this, but they are just like so much money is being just given away and spent to make this show.
Yeah, it's really just shaming every other reality show.
It seems like you could make a decade of Survivor for what they're spending on Beast Games.
Yeah, and you could win like 10 seasons of Survivor and make less money than you might make on Beast Games.
I mean, it was incredible. So they start off Beast Games, and okay, here's 1,000 people, and the first thing that they're going to do is like we're going to eliminate some people. And was it $1 million that they started off with, or was it 100,000?
So and because listen, they make a big deal of this. Like all of the records they're breaking, most amount of money given away in the first episode of a reality television
record,
show.
Yeah.
And they gave away $1 million for anybody that dropped out. Not specifically for anybody, but for anybody that dropped out in that time period, they'd share the $1 million. So depending on how many people dropped out, you'd get a different amount of money.
Yeah. And so it seems like a lot of the Mr. Beast games, especially like early on, and even through this, like this seems to be like a theme. Who is willing to take money in order to, one, like screw these people over, so that the people that don't take the offer get nothing, and then also you're out of contention for the $5 million prize. But when it's a 1 in 1,000 shot at getting to the grand prize, I wish I had the confidence of the people that feel like, hey, I'm getting to the 5 million.
I very much like the whole way through. The very first challenge, I was like, yep, I'm out.
Yeah.
20 grand. Like I'm in.
Yeah. Oh,
fine.
I would have felt like a winner right there. Let me shout out in the chat here. JT Williams in the chat says, I was a contestant on Mr. Beast Games, and we have no reason to doubt JT's claim. And so JT says, wanted to be on Survivor. Was an adventure for sure. Root for number 754.
Well,
It says it was
that's
over
the thing about
$120 million on Beast Games.
that's the thing about the contestants is, like, are you still on?
We don't know.
They don't
Tell
exactly
us.
track who gets eliminated. I don't even know. We haven't talked about it. Sifu from Survivor.
Sifu
was a contestant. I don't even know if he's still in.
We hope so.
I haven't seen him in an episode.
Yeah. So, Taran, we'll get into like a little bit more of the details of what goes on, but it seems like that where we're going with this is, so in the Beast Games, that they're gonna like cull the herd down from 1,000 people to 500 people, and then 500 people are going to go live in a city built by Mr. Beast. They spent $15 million building a city for people to live in while they play Beast Games.
Yeah. This feels unnecessary.
Yeah. The Big Brother house has been the same trailer for 20 years, Taran.
Yeah, and Big Brother loves to talk about it's like 100 cameras. Well, Jimmy's got over 1,000.
Oh, yeah, 1,100. Yeah, there's 1,000 more cameras than the Big Brother house.
Yeah, and I think that calling it a city is maybe a little bit of an exaggeration. It's more of like a park. But yeah, the 500 that make it through the warehouse section go to the city. I thought the warehouse section though was really cool. I liked the setup with all of the lights and the trap doors. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, this place that they were at for the first episode before they go to the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was really cool. Like something that you would see like in a cartoon, that all the people, the 1,000 people are sort of like wired up on trapdoors, and Mr. Beast, like when you lose, you just get sucked right into the trapdoor.
It was wild watching the row of people just I mean, I was like, that doesn't even look real.
Yeah. They did it.
They did it.
Pretty wild. Okay. So and in the Beast City also, the people are going to live for a month also.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. So he said it's going to take place over a month. I don't know if he meant that like they'd be filming over a month or that the show would be airing over the next month, because I
think they're filming over a month.
It's possible. I mean, based on all of the like, we're going to go to a private island and, shoot on a pirate ship. And I imagine
give
that takes
away
a
a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on here in Beast Games. We don't really know what the game's going to be, but that's sort of like, okay, how willing are you to screw over other people seems to be the thesis of Beast Games.
Yeah. And really, especially in these early portions, like how unlucky are you to be in a group of people that happen to have somebody that screwed you over is also a thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's the show. And so we're going to follow all these people. And so, all right, we have the people that step out for ultimately $20,000 each. That's how many people step out. But this was a good deal.
It was a pretty good deal, I think. Guarantee. What I was wowed at the fact that so many people stepped out before there was like a 10-minute timer, and there were people that stepped out at like 8 minutes left.
Yeah,
it's like you don't even know how many people at that point. Just wait until the end, like most people did, because then you have a decent idea of like what kind of money you're actually stepping out for. And if you know anything about Mr. Beast, there's going to be other opportunities to get money. You probably have to get lucky and pass another thing first. But like, at least wait until the last minute and see what you can do. Okay.
Taran, then after that, Mr. Beast is going to eliminate like rows of people that you had to have one person from your row of, I don't know how many people were like per row.
I think it was like 80 people per row at that point.
So somebody had to give up, somebody had to step away to then ultimately save the whole group. And there were going to be 3 rows that ultimately, the last 3 to not have a person give up, were going to be automatically eliminated.
This is wild to me. It's so fascinating that so many people are willing to step out for a group of people they don't even know.
They just met.
Yeah.
It is weird. And they also
just had an opportunity to get $20,000 to do this, didn't do it, But for the sake of a row of people that some of which you can't even see because they're so far away, you're willing to step up. And none of those people are likely to win the whole thing either. Like all of those people are also probably going to lose.
What do you think the motivation is for some of these people? They just got there and like, oh, I don't like this. I'm not having fun. I have to go to the bathroom.
You'd think, but then at the same time, it's like they just had an opportunity to leave, right? Like they just had an opportunity to make $20,000, and it maybe even more at the time that they were dropping out. So like, why do it? I have to imagine, and this is what JT is saying, and at the same time, like it has to be people who think I'm probably not going to win, and there's like one or two people in my row that I know that I want to like drop out for them.
JT says, so much of the game was played in the pregame. We all knew each other so well going into that sacrifice round. How did you all know each other?
I think they stayed in the same like hotels.
From the 2,000 people round?
So I believe, and JT may correct me, but yeah, in Vegas, they had the 2,000 people round. And then I think even once they got to the next filming, large groups of them were staying together in hotels, and then they had I'm sure lots of downtime. And I saw like the Colin and Samir video where they went behind the scenes, and like there were groups of people that were like, yeah, we've made like a 20-person alliance.
How do you feel about pre-gaming for Beast Games, Taran?
This sounds like it's necessary.
Yeah, well, that'll be interesting to see if they touch on the pre-game alliances. Yeah. JT says that we've had 3 weeks between filming and we hung out. Wow.
Smart. Okay. That's what you should do. You need to find people that you can trust, and so that you can be in a group with them as much as possible so that you're not dumping. Because like, even if you are a person that wants to potentially eliminate yourself for money, there's a better way to do it than just like jumping at the first opportunity. Because some people, as we've seen in these 2 episodes, some people will make like $5,000 to $20,000. Some people could make up to $1 million by stepping out. And it's just a matter of like when you do it. So if you're able to coordinate in a better way, then you're still going to make more money, even if you do betray.
Yeah. So a bunch of people are dropping out and people are crying. I guess that this makes more sense that they know each other. But I really, as this was all going on, I just was trying to follow, like, who are the people that I'm trying to track?
There's really not a lot of people to track so far. And I am wondering if that's going to change over the course of the season as the numbers whittle down. I mean, 1,000 people to start with is way too many. And, maybe one of the downsides of Squid Game is that, like, you did start to notice like there are some main characters, right, throughout the whole thing. And that works for a TV show because you're following the main character, like the scripted show. But for the reality show, like, does that work in the same way? I think it did work for Squid Game, but this is taking a different approach. This is taking the approach of like, just whoever is having the biggest reaction in the moment, they're the person we're following.
Yeah.
And you definitely noticed like beard guy that ends up being a polar bear guard or whatever, who ends up being a captain. Like, you notice him because he's distinguished. He's got the distinguishing feature, and they definitely have like highlighted him here and there. But for the most part, yeah, it's just like all over the place.
Okay. They need to get this down to what if, or actually then we go to stacking the blocks. And this is like a power veto competition.
Yeah. They have to stack the blocks on the thing. And, the rules weren't super clear to me at first, but I think what happens is like, if a block falls out of your square, you're out. You can't continue. If they fall and they're all within your square, I think you can still rebuild. That was my understanding. But either way, once a block falls out of your square, that's it. You're done. And then also, if it's not fully formed at the end of the 10 minutes, you're also like done. But only 100 people were eliminated, so it was like a whole thing.
Yep. And then they had to review the footage, and then they got it down to what did we have, like 600 people left still?
Yeah, 600 plus, I think.
Okay. And then we did another round where now, okay, we're gonna eliminate. We did columns before. Now you're in by your row of somebody has to step out.
Yes, and this time instead of like you have to volunteer to save your row, it was bribing people to eliminate their entire row to take
Hmm.
money.
Yeah. Were you
Which
happy for the people that took money, or did you not like them?
I'm happy for them.
I was happy for them. I was like,
Yeah,
good for you.
because it's also like think about the social pressure of it, right?
Hmm.
Like there's a social pressure of the people in your row being like, nobody take it, and we all agree, and everyone's gonna hate you if you take it. But those are only like 8 people. Everybody else in that warehouse, they're cheering you to take it
Do it.
because that helps them. That's one less row that they have to contend with. So you might make like 8 people super mad at you, but like the other 600 are super happy with you, and you walk away with like however much money they were making.
Right. And I wish we got to see, when I take the offer and like the 9 people in my row get totally screwed over, they get nothing. I wish they would like follow me on my way to the parking lot as like I'm
Yeah,
getting
right.
like booed and like garbage thrown at me, and people are like giving me a wedgie on the way out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is the thing. Like, I am curious about like some of the fallout, and maybe there is something there that we're missing in terms of like the amount of story that is being left on the table that other shows would not leave on the table,
Hmm.
about like milking these betrayals and these like intense emotions. But in this show, we're just speeding through them.
It's not what we're here for. Okay. JT, all right. Our number one Beast Games expert says,
Mm,
we were on those pillars for about 32 hours, 3 days of 12 hours with those people before the betrayal round.
yeah.
Long days shooting Beast Games.
Yeah.
I
I'm
wouldn't be
also
cut
real.
out for it.
Listen, if I'm ever on Beast Games, I'm never betraying anybody, just so everyone knows. That's
Hmm.
I'm obviously super trustworthy and make me your captain.
Would you be good to stand there for all that time?
Yeah. You're gonna win a lot of money.
Maybe, but you might get nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take those odds.
Yeah. Okay. This seems like something that would appeal to you.
I mean, winning money appeals to me.
Yeah. All right. JT says you didn't have to stand. Okay. So you could sit down. I just think it would be very boring.
It would be very boring. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
I feel
mean,
like
listen,
getting
if
Squid Game,
genuinely
there's more
like,
stuff to do.
yeah, like I would be more based on the games that we've seen so far. I'd be more interested in playing Squid Game because they feel like more fun.
You get the
But
jumpsuit. Or do you like the Mr. Beast jersey?
that's fine. I'm not really a dress up guy, you know.
Mhm. Okay. All right. So we get it down to 500 people, and we get to go to the Beast City. Anything else from the first episode?
Like I said, I just feel like the visuals were really fun. The trapdoors, the lights, like, I've seen Mr. Beast videos before. This was definitely like of a higher quality, especially in terms
Mhm.
of the cameras they were using. I think that like a thing for Mr. Beast is that he likes it looking amateur, but I don't. I like it when it looks pretty like this.
Yeah. Okay. So we take the 500 people and we go out to Beast City. Also, people are going to win an island on this show. What do you think about a private island?
It sounds really stupid.
It sounds like, yeah, a lot of upkeep, I would think, with the private island.
Who, if I won an island, I'd have no use for it whatsoever. Like I would just sell it, I guess, if anybody was interested in buying it. Like, what
You'd flip it.
when I'm going to go to my private island? Great, now I'm there
Do they have internet on your private island?
on an island. Yeah, like, do they have internet? Like, do they like?
Okay.
It's
JT
just
says
a
you
silly.
could sell the island back to Mr. Beast if you want it.
I mean, yeah, I feel like that's what literally everybody would do.
Hey, but you know what they say? The island loses 30% of the value the second that you take it off the map.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You have to pay taxes on the island if you don't sell it. Boy, JT
Yeah,
knows
it's
a
like
lot
winning
about the island.
Like winning a car, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right, Taran, people had to then, there was a tower in episode 2, and you had to pick a token to go into the tower, and there were going to be 4 different competitions that were part of being in the tower. So once people got set up, they had to pick, they had different names for these tokens.
Yeah, I mean they were like numbered, right? And then there was
On the
like
back, they had
the
like an
hint on the
inscription,
back.
like "Hope
Yeah,
you can catch."
less is more.
Hmm.
Which really, less is. I don't know why anybody chose less is more. I'm giving that token away for sure.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, so we go and set up these games. And so the first game is we're going to drop a red ball from the ceiling. And the first team that doesn't catch the red ball, the whole team is out.
I was blown away that they were going to have it be one drop and the whole thing is. I was like, that's going to be so fast. And then turns out it would have been even faster than what they got if they had properly caught the fact that the very first guy catching the very first ball drops it. That was wild.
1,100 cameras.
You're like
they
three
missed
strikes,
it.
you're out.
They missed it at first.
Yeah.
Did everybody just cover for that guy?
I think so.
I couldn't tell. Did that guy like rat himself out? And he's like, "Hey, I have to admit something." Yeah.
He was like, yeah, guys, I mean, I dropped it. And they were like, you don't have to say, shut up. And he was like, they have cameras everywhere. They're going to find out.
Yeah. But how does that guy get out of the building alive after that?
Right? I mean, not to no fault of his own. I mean, kudos to him for saying something too, like having the wherewithal to like just own up to it. But yeah, I mean, that was wild. Oh, wow.
JT says the guy who dropped it kept me in the game by not taking 100K.
Oh, well, you mean in the previous?
I guess so. I guess he was in the same row as JT.
Oh, wow. So you don't take $100,000 and then you drop a ball.
Mm-hmm. Look, that's Beast Games, baby.
That's Beast Games.
Yeah. Okay. So then we had the does anybody want to leave game? And this was a little bit like that scene in The Dark Knight where the Joker puts a bomb on the two boats.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Did they have walkie-talkies to communicate between the two boats or no?
I don't remember.
Yeah. And the Joker's like, okay, you have the button to blow up their boat. You have the button to blow up their boat. This was that you had to have the least people there. People had to quit the game and you had a telephone to talk to each other.
Yeah, I liked how clearly annoyed Mr. Beast was that they weren't using the phone.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, guys, what? You're not going to talk to them? Like,
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the thing.
But you know what? On Squid Game, in the Squid Game, the challenge, there was like a thing where like a guy answered the phone and then basically like he got killed for answering the phone.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Mr. Beast was going to start offering people things if they answered the phone, but then he didn't.
No, they didn't really end up using this. And then there was a couple of people that just laughed out of the goodness of their heart, which was nice. There was one lady, but I feel like these people probably felt like that they were getting more of a moment in the show.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like, what? You're like, that's even wilder to me that you would just dip without even knowing that it's going to make a difference at that point. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to drop out here and make no money. And just hope that you guys make it. And I guess they've developed relationships with these people, but like, if you're in a spot where like you're gonna need to potentially quit the game in order to help your friend, like don't group up with them.
Yeah. Also, JT says they used the phone more than you saw. I don't know why they edited it more like that.
Huh.
Who knows?
Maybe it was boring.
It was boring. Like, hey, what's up?
It didn't seem like it made any difference.
No. And then the people that then 3 or 4 people left at the end, and it's like again, it was like a rapid cut. I don't think we saw their faces.
Yeah, it was very funny to me because Mr. Beast was like, "All right, white team, that's the guy who left at the last second that gave you the win. Everyone thank him." And the camera never even showed his face.
Yeah,
just from behind, he was like, "Yeah."
Mm-hmm. All right, then we get to get ready to throw down. We have sort of our beer pong from the like up in the second or third floor and then bounce the ping pong ball into the red solo cup.
Yeah, and then he introduces the golden cup, which I thought was way too hard to get it. At first,
nobody
I was
even attempted it until they were eliminated.
Right, because at first I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's a little bit further away, but like totally doable. But then later you see it's not a full cup, though. It's like covered with a tiny little like ball-shaped hole in the middle. And it's like, there's no way anybody's going to get it in there.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel like, and maybe we'll get this later, but like, do we need to know more about like, okay, oh, I'm, in deeply in debt. Like, the pet characters in Squid Game, like certainly the scripted show, like they really needed this money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think there was something I saw where it was like, how many people have quit their jobs to be on this? And they're like,
yeah,
a bunch of people. And it's like, oh boy, that's
so yeah. I just like, it's so hard to tell what this is going to be based off of what we've seen so far.
it's just like human fodder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain it. It's such a strange thing to watch.
Yeah, it's very dystopian, and I think that's like by design.
Yeah.
But I think that sometimes like then there is like we do find like some humanity in some of these like Mr. Beast games that he does in like on the YouTube channel, but that all happens over the course of like 35 40 minutes. Like I don't know like at what point in the run of Beast games we're going to get to the point where we start to like understand who these people are.
Something they mentioned in one of the behind the scenes videos was that like the intention, I think, was to start the show. Episode 1 was the most YouTube-y it would be.
Mm-hmm.
And then every episode, it would get more and more like regular establishment entertainment industry.
And I'd say I like the second episode better than the first episode. The first episode, my head was spinning a little bit.
I will also say, as I was watching YouTube videos about the thing, when I watched the like 2,000 person video, I was like, this is too much. I've had too much Mr. Beast. This is... it's just two episodes was just enough for me at the time, and now it's going to be like one episode a week, which I think is going to be fine.
Okay, so we had our playing the beer pong. The pink team got out to a pretty insurmountable lead, and then ultimately wins that. That whole team ends up getting eliminated, and then we had a trivia contest.
Yeah, I'm normally a huge fan of trivia because it like the stakes are a lot more clear and you can play along, but for some reason this was just kind of really boring. I don't know.
Yeah, they montaged it because the questions, I guess, were so easy and everybody kept getting them right. Yeah. Okay. Ultimately, we end up with one of the teams has to come up with what did Apple invent in 2001? The iPod, which ultimately then eliminates. You would have got that.
I would have got it.
You would have ate that.
Okay? iPhone was too early for that.
Too early for the iPhone. Okay. All right. So then we get, after all this, okay, we get people into smaller groups with captains, but make sure you pick somebody that you can trust because they're going to be tempted once again, which is, again, like the crux of Beast games. How much can you trust a person to not screw you over and take the money themselves?
This is my favorite version of this that they've done so far because they specifically, like, your fate is in your own hands with this one. You are choosing to put your trust in a particular person
for the first time,
happening to be in a group with people that you end up getting screwed over with.
Yeah, and a few people said, pick me, you could trust me, I'm fine, I'm good. All right, so we get how many different 8 captains that get picked?
I think it was 4 captains.
It was only 4?
I think so. Unless they do 4 and 4.
I think it was 4 on each side.
So we're going to do like another set of captains.
Guess what? We have our expert. Oh, it was only 4. I apologize. Okay. 4 captains. And so then Mr. Beast has a money counter that is going to go up exponentially. And that number, when it goes up, people could take that offer and leave with that money. And then Mr. Beast adds in the twist, that 2 different twists, that there was one twist that the person who takes the money is not eliminated, and also that if nobody takes the money, everybody gets to stay.
Yeah. You don't get eliminated, but like surely you have a target on your back, right? Like you're going to have a hard time.
By who? And that everybody's going to love
somebody
you.
to drop out for you in the future. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, this was, I thought this was very compelling. However, they do the thing that I very much hate in these shows,
cliffhanger?
which the cliffhanger. I've talked about this a lot covering other shows. If you haven't heard me rant about it, I'll try to be brief. But like, this is the wrong kind of cliffhanger. We're going to come back next week to see the end result of this, and it's not going to be as fulfilling as it would have been if we had seen the end result with all of the buildup. It's going to be a lot less climactic because of that. The right kind of cliffhanger is when you finish a thing and promise something else, rather than when you take away from a thing you already are getting, if that makes sense. So like, they took the ending away from us rather than promising us, oh, what's going to happen next?
Yeah.
So that's my thing about cliffhanger.
But we can speculate, Taran, because this money is getting high. Even Mr. Beast himself, he cannot believe it. He says that he's going to throw up because he can't believe how much money. He says the money will stop at some point, but it will stop at a disgusting amount. And he wasn't joking, because we see that the money is going up over $100,000, over $200,000, over $500,000, over $700,000, and we are getting up close to $1 million. And at this point, I'm just thinking about all these other reality shows that we talk about, and all like these other things that we watch these people go through. Taran, you watch people every summer go for 100 days locked in this house trying to get just $750,000. All these people have to do is push a button. That's it.
They had to convince
you win Big Brother. Yeah.
That they wouldn't do it and then do it. Just one con. That's all it takes.
We watch all these seasons of Survivor, people fighting for $1 million. You get $1 million if you push the button.
I mean, listen, I can't even pretend.
It's insane.
I can't even pretend in the theoretical, hypothetical situation where I'm on the show, because I absolutely would do my best to convince people I wouldn't do it, but then I absolutely would do it. I'm not going to.
How could you not? They picked
$1 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fifth of the total money. I
So
could give everybody in that group like 10 grand and be chill.
Yeah. What do you think is going to happen?
I think somebody's going to press it.
Okay. I think they're going to ultimately hit the button and they're going to hit the number that Mr. Beast needs to get to, and everybody's going to stay.
If nobody presses it, then it's an even worse cliffhanger to me. It's like now you've really just lost my trust, Mr. Beast. This is the last.
But maybe
straw,
they
really.
have to do the cliffhanger on that because nobody is going to press it, and so it's sort of like then to end the episode on that everybody gets to stay. It's not as intense as like, okay, got to see what happens next time.
Maybe. I was thinking the whole time. I was thinking beard guy, the polar bear guy.
Yeah,
I was thinking because he was like, nope, not even gonna look, not even gonna look.
But they start looking. They start like, oh man.
But I was like, I think this guy's gonna do it. They all trusted him the most out of anybody. I was like, I think he might do it.
If anybody does it, I think it's gonna be Dino.
He was the one they were really hyping up that might do it.
They were hyping up Dino a lot, and then Dino was looking like very much, and then he was like doing like weird stuff with his hands, like oh.
Yeah, and also like they made a point of showing somebody else who volunteered, and then they shot that guy down. So, so it does seem like
Dino's my guy. It's Dino.
It did feel like Dino was kind of being like, oh wow, look at all of this, like he was preparing to like accidentally like, oh no, I accidentally hit it, I'm sorry, oh I was just waving my arms around, oh no, oh whoops, yeah. Oh well I guess I'll take my $1 million.
But isn't that like so wild of like Dino, like let's say Dino pushes the button and leaves with $1 million from Beast Games, like life-changing money for Dino for the rest of his life, and it's like, wow, like look at the house, the car, Dino, how do you like, well, did you see the first 2 episodes of Beast Games?
I mean, listen, still less exploitative than most wealth in America.
So I don't know. I feel like that I was not riveted through the first episode and a half, but I feel like by the end of the second episode, like I feel like, we got something here. I want to see how this plays out.
Yeah, me too. I liked the tower stuff. I liked this. The cliffhanger bummed me out. But I was kind of surprised because, we've heard a lot about this show. There's been a lot of controversy. And it felt like does Mr. Beast even still got it? But I did enjoy it. I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was
Okay.
fun.
I kind of thought when I was watching it, I'm like, I don't think Taran's gonna like this.
I liked it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to hear. Well, I'm excited to watch it with my kids. They are big Beast guys, Beast heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. I promised my son Dominic that I would let him watch it and then talk to him about it on the Patron podcast feed. So coming this weekend, I'm going to talk to Dominic about his thoughts on this, and he can tell us how was this Sigma? Was it Skibbity?
Oh no!
Find out.
Listen, we have to really get into the true audience for the show.
Yeah, that's like the core demo. The 11-year-olds. What are they thinking about Beast games?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, listen. I'll be listening.
What if my son is like, Dad, Survivor is old news. I want to grow up and be on Beast games. What do I do?
You explain to him the math.
Mm-hmm. He's like, no, I'll kill it. I'm him. I'm gonna win Beast games.
Just like, listen, you have like a 1 in 18 shot at winning $1 million on Survivor.
It's better odds. Yeah,
better odds.
I got so mad last night, Taran. We were watching the Survivor finale, and we were watching the Survivor after show, and there was like 15 minutes left, and he was like, Dad, do we have to keep watching this? Like, do we see, like, can we watch something else now? Like, it's not over.
I mean, listen, to be fair, the after shows lately have left me feeling a little similar. He wasn't wrong,
but I have to watch it. I'm like, do you understand what goes on in this house?
Yeah. Like, is this really your job? Like, we gotta do this?
JT says, explain to him that getting on Beast games is 100 times easier. I think we get that.
Well, yes. However, I think for Dominic, getting on Survivor would be relatively easy as well. I think it's an easy sell to Jeff Probst.
Maybe there's some story there
specifically for Dominic. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've talked too much about this yet, but the reality TV news account on Blue Sky posted there's some familiar faces. Of course, this JT from the chat, but then also some other folks that you may or may not recognize. Our friend Sifu, also star of Sifu Games, is there. Contestant 64. I do not know if Sifu is still in the game. Maybe JT can tell us. Taran, do you recognize this woman in the middle?
Ainsley.
Ainsley. Yeah.
Without the blue hair. She's in disguise. She's incognito.
And then I actually did recognize one of these two Squid Game people. So there's two people who are from Squid Games The Challenge. Felicia and then also Daniel.
He was like in the gang, right?
Yes, he was one of the people in the gang. You're right. Yeah. Okay. And JT also says, I got to explain what Big Brother was to Ainsley. So I guess that the woman that played Ainsley didn't even know what Big Brother was.
That's not surprising.
Put her on the show.
Yeah, apparently she's interested in playing these games. Why we need to get Ainsley on Big Brother?
They should have voted her into the house. She could have been the 17th house guest. She wouldn't have to go on Beast Games.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. JT also lets us know that the first row got eliminated from sacrifices. So Sifu and Falasia were both out early. Not fair. Oof. Bring back Sifu.
Yeah.
They could just let him back in the herd. Nobody's going to notice. Nobody's counting.
Well, I think they were. I think they all have like tags on them because people did try to stay after they were eliminated in certain ones.
Oh, okay. You got to watch out for that. Charles wants to know, I haven't started this show. Is it Survivor tier good? I mean,
nah.
It's season one. It's season one.
Yeah, I mean, it's very different. I think the thing about this show is that it's very different. And if you are able to watch it without getting a headache, you might find it interesting in the ways that it does things. But it is also, as we've mentioned, very dystopian. there's a lot of controversy attached to it.
Mhm.
When you have 2,000 people all competing and an inexperienced crew handling all of that, like things, there's all kinds of different accusations that were leveled. So, you can factor that into whether you decide you want to watch it. But, I think as an entertainment, as a piece of entertainment, I think it was fun.
Okay. All right. So let's see where we go with Beast Games. Also, Squid Game, the series, is back also on Netflix coming up next week. So there's a lot of this type of content out there. I would say that I am curious to see more, is my official review on Beast Games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing too, I've mentioned this on the Tastemakers, but the thing that Amazon does, because I still haven't updated my Amazon Prime account to do no ads, is that when the ads play while you're watching an episode, it'll have like press OK to add this to your cart, like as part of the advertisement. Like they are deep.
Yeah. Also, like I got an ad and I'm like, I don't, am I getting like targeted like video ads also then on the, like, I wasn't sure.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure they have ads. Not that I've seen an ad for something that I'm actually interested in buying, but like it makes sense that they'd have an ad. Like they know your shopping history and preferences. So like you'd assume that they'd target pretty specifically.
Yeah. And then Taran, Beast Games has like a couple of big sponsors here on this. And then the one that there had been some controversy around of that one is like a financial lender company. It seems like you could Money Lion.
Right. I think that was the one he popped
A
up.
$4 million
QR
giveaway also is being done with Money Lion. I don't know what's going on there. I am not I didn't scan the QR code.
I didn't either.
I don't know. I don't know what's, I see a random QR code. I'm not scanning. So.
Yeah, it's some kind of money lending service, I guess.
Yeah.
Which,
hey, if you need money, you could either win Beast Games or call those guys, I guess.
Probably don't, though. It's probably not a good idea.
We don't know. Okay. All right. Taran, anything else you want to say about Beast Games?
I don't think it's like the revolution that we maybe hoped, 6 months ago or whatever when we first discussed it. I don't think this is, going to change reality television. I'm interested to see what the viewership is like, what the translation is from YouTube to streaming. But I'm curious about it. I think it's still intriguing as a concept and in the way that it approaches this kind of content.
Yeah, and I don't know if these videos are going to be posted on YouTube, but it just feels like that if this was like on the Mr. Beast channel, like I kind of feel like that there would be a bigger audience for this. And I feel like that is Mr. Beast putting this on Amazon Prime actually going to show this to less people than he would if he just had it on his YouTube channel.
Well, that's the thing. I looked for more reactions and of like more of a response to this. Like I looked on Reddit and I looked on like other places where I'd normally see discussion about television, and it's kind of crickets. Like I'm not really seeing much discussion about this. There's a bunch of, as I mentioned, YouTube videos being dropped about it. There's people in the comments of the YouTube videos, but there's not any like serious discussion about the show. It has its own subreddit, but it's pretty dead. So maybe I'm just like not hip to where discussions happen on the internet anymore, but like in the places I often look, I'm not seeing much.
Okay. All right. Well, let us know what you thought about Beast Games in the comments, and we'll be following along. Taran, what else is going on for you?
Well, as we've mentioned, check out the Tastemakers. I think it's a very fun podcast. We check out all of the new shows that are airing, movies that are coming out, news in the world of TV and film. We keep you updated on all of it and let you know maybe what's worth watching, maybe what's worth not watching. And so tune into that. It's on the We Know Scripted TV feed and also on the YouTube channel if you want to watch us. It's Grace and I over there. Then we got other stuff happening all over the place.
Okay. All right. And then we got a ton of Survivor finale coverage as well up. Everything from last night's Survivor finale, including my interviews with the Final Four and Survivor Know-It-Alls today. So be sure to check that out. And then I'll be talking Beast Games with my 11-year-old son, Dominic. And we're going to drop that in the patron feed at some point this weekend. So be on the lookout for that, depending on what kind of mood he's in. That could be a very short podcast.
Yeah.
Could be a 3-minute podcast if we get
could
him
be
on
3
the wrong
minutes,
day.
could be like an hour, right?
You never know.
Just explaining the whole lore.
If he's on a roll. Okay.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to that. So check that out. That'll be in the patron podcast feed at robswebsite.com/patron. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.